There is a specific kind of waiting that does not feel like waiting. It feels like faith. You tell yourself that the divine masculine is processing, that he is going deep, that the silence means something is shifting beneath the surface, and that soon, when he has worked through whatever he is working through, he will emerge and finally meet you where you are. You have been generous with that silence, patient with it. You have given it spiritual meaning because the alternative felt too painful to sit with directly. This video is about that alternative, not to devastate you, to free you, because the story you have been told about what that silence means has been asking you to wait for something that silence alone cannot deliver. There is one reframe in this video that is going to land somewhere uncomfortable. It is about what emotional unavailability actually costs you while you are busy calling it depth. Stay with me until we get there. Here is the belief that has been running underneath the waiting. The belief is this: his silence is a form of presence. It means he is feeling something so profound, he cannot yet find words for it. It means the connection is so deep that ordinary communication cannot contain it. That belief is not born from nothing. Deep feeling does sometimes precede deep speech. But there is a critical difference between a person who is temporarily quiet because they are genuinely processing and a person whose nervous system has learned that emotional withdrawal is the safest response to intimacy. One is a pause. The other is a pattern. And a pattern does not resolve with more patience. It resolves only when it is named correctly. The psychologist John Bowlby spent decades studying how early attachment experiences shape adult relational behavior. What he found was precise and documented. When a child learns that expressing emotional needs leads to rejection, withdrawal, or punishment, the nervous system builds a strategy. It learns to suppress emotional expression, not as a choice, as a survival response. Bowlby called this avoidant attachment. The person who develops it is not cold. They often feel deeply, but the pathway between feeling and expressing has been interrupted by early relational experiences that made emotional expression feel dangerous. In adult relationships, this looks like withdrawal under emotional pressure. It looks like silence when closeness increases. It looks like warmth that appears and then disappears without explanation. And it looks, from the outside, like mystery, like depth, like someone who feels so much they cannot speak. But what it actually is, neurologically, is a nervous system protecting itself from the vulnerability that genuine intimacy requires. The silence is not spiritual. It is protective, and there is an enormous difference between those two things. I want to tell you about a woman named Diane. She was 36, a physiotherapist, someone who spent her professional days helping people reconnect with their own bodies. She had been in a cycle with the divine masculine for almost 2 years. She described his silences as the most intimate parts of their connection. She said she felt closest to him in the spaces between words. The moment of shift came during an ordinary phone call with her sister. Her sister asked a simple question. She asked when the divine masculine had last asked Diane how she was doing, and then actually listened to the answer. Diane went quiet. She started going back through 2 years of memories, and she realized she could not find a single clear instance. She had mistaken the absence of conflict for the presence of intimacy. She had mistaken enduring the silence for being in a deep connection. That realization was not dramatic. It was quiet, and it was the most clarifying thing she had felt in months. The first sign is called one-directional emotional labor. You are the one who initiates difficult conversations. You are the one who names what is happening in the connection. You are the one who holds space for his processing, while your own processing happens largely alone. Emotional availability is not the absence of silence. It is the presence of reciprocity. The second sign is called comfort without growth. The divine masculine is comfortable in the connection when it requires nothing emotionally complex from him. The moment the connection deepens or requires genuine vulnerability, the silence arrives. This is not processing. This is the avoidant nervous system pulling the emergency brake exactly when intimacy is being asked of it. The third sign is called your expansion shrinking. You have learned to want less, to need less, to express less, not because you have grown into greater equanimity, but because you have adapted to a relational environment that cannot hold your full emotional range. Sovereignty cannot exist in a container that requires you to make yourself smaller to maintain it. The fourth sign is called the interpretation burden. You are doing extraordinary cognitive and emotional work to find meaning in his silence. You are the one creating the story that makes the silence bearable. He has not created that story with you. You have created it for him. And that asymmetry is worth sitting with, honestly. The fifth sign is called intimacy without integration. There are moments of profound connection, followed by withdrawal, followed by reconnection. The connection never deepens into something stable because integration requires both people to stay present through the uncomfortable moments. Silence, in the face of discomfort, is not depth. It is the refusal of depth. I want to give you something right now. This is called the Reciprocity Audit. Take one slow breath and let your body settle. Now think of the last 3 emotional conversations you initiated in this connection. Not arguments, genuine emotional conversations. For each one, ask yourself one question. Did the divine masculine bring something of himself to that conversation? Not just respond. Bring something. Whatever surfaces is information. Your nervous system has already registered. You are simply giving it permission to be conscious. This is not about blame. It is about seeing clearly. And clarity is the foundation that sovereignty is built on. Emotional unavailability does not look like cruelty. That is what makes it so difficult to name. It looks like a person who is present enough to keep you hoping and unavailable enough to ensure the connection never actually lands. The silence was never the problem. The story you built around the silence was keeping you from seeing what the silence actually was. A nervous system protecting itself at your expense. You deserve a connection where your emotional reality is met. Not eventually. Not after more patience. Now. Drop a comment below and tell me specifically what you have been telling yourself his silence means. That answer will show you exactly which part of this reframe your nervous system most needs to hear. If this kind of honest and grounded perspective is what you have been missing, subscribe to Divine Flame Union because we go deeper every single week.